Adanna had given up her ears, the very gift that once saved the village, a kingdom, and a child. But what no one expected was that her true gift hadn't been taken. It had just transformed. Days passed after Adanna's sacrifice. She couldn't hear the songs of birds, the whispers of the wind, or the laughter of the children in the village. But she began to feel something new. It was as though the world spoke to her through her bones, her breath, and her dreams. She would sit beneath the mango tree, eyes closed, while others played and walked. Yet somehow, she always knew when someone was coming. She could sense joy like sunlight, pain like heavy clouds. People didn't understand it at first, but soon, they began to notice. One morning, as she walked by the stream with her carved walking stick, a mother ran up to her, her eyes wide and filled with tears. "My baby. He's missing, he went into the forest." Adanna didn't hear the words, but she felt the weight of desperation in the air, like a stone in her chest. Her feet moved before her mind could catch up. She closed her eyes and followed the pull of that pain. She walked straight into the forest, guided by the rhythm of the mother's sorrow. Through thick vines and twisted roots, her path was unseen, yet known. Her breath slowed as she neared an ancient Iroko tree, where the air felt thick and cold. There, at the base of the tree, she found the child, curled up, afraid, but safe. His eyes widened when he saw her, and in silence, he reached out. She lifted him into her arms and carried him back. Not a word was spoken, but the entire village watched in stunned silence. "How did she know?" they whispered. She didn't even hear the mother speak. Soon the whispers turned from confusion to awe. She lost her ears, but she feels what others can't. The chief summoned her to the village square. He stood before the elders and villagers, all gathered in a tight circle. "Adanna," he said, his voice proud, "your ears may be gone, but you now hear with something greater. Your heart is tuned to the spirits. We need your help once more." He pointed to the jagged mountains beyond the wide river. "A strange illness has spread in the nearby village of Ogugu. No one knows the cause. Many have died. Their healers have failed. Will you go?" Adanna looked up to the sky. The clouds were moving faster than normal. The trees whispered secrets only she could feel. She nodded without hesitation. That night, she sat by the riverbank, her bare feet resting in the cool water. The moon cast a silver glow over the surface, and frogs sang lullabies from the shadows. Then a voice rose, not from around her, but within. "To heal others, you must first face the wound in your spirit." A vision filled her mind. She saw herself as a child, sitting alone, tears running down her cheeks as other children laughed and flapped their ears in mockery. She saw the hollow face of her father, a man she barely remembered, reaching for her with empty arms. His eyes were full of sorrow. She wept quietly. She hadn't known how deep her wound still was. The next morning, she rose with the sun and crossed the river. The journey to Ogugu was long. Days passed as she walked through fields of cracked earth, past rivers that had turned to dry beds of dust. Trees stood like skeletons, stripped bare by a curse that fed on life itself. On the third night, she saw strange lights flickering in the distance. Fireflies, yes, but they danced in patterns like symbols. Her dreams that night were filled with voices she didn't recognize, telling her to hurry. When she arrived, the village of Ogugu was a ghost of its former self. Houses leaned like tired old men. Smoke no longer rose from cooking fires. Even the animals were silent, their eyes dull and distant. The elders greeted her without words, their faces painted with both hope and fear. They led her through the village until they reached a small clay hut near the center. Inside lay a child, skin hot and eyes wild. A strange black vine had wrapped itself around his leg, pulsing softly like a heartbeat. Adanna reached out and touched the child's forehead. The moment her skin met his, a shiver ran through her body. She felt something ancient, a force buried deep beneath the soil. Something angry. She turned to the elders and traced a message in the dust. This is not an illness of the body. It is a spirit's sorrow. The elders exchanged looks, and one finally spoke. There is an old shrine in the jungle. Long abandoned. Some say a forgotten spirit sleeps there, waiting. Adanna stood up. She would go. Deep in the jungle, she found the shrine, a crumbling stone circle, half swallowed by vines and time. Statues of animals with hollow eyes surrounded it. The air here buzzed, not with insects, but with something deeper. She stepped inside the circle and placed her hands on the earth. The world went quiet. And then, she felt it. A heartbeat. A sadness so heavy it pulled tears from her eyes. A mist rose from the ground, and a figure began to take shape, a spirit woman, tall and bent, with vines for hair and eyes like bottomless wells. Her mouth was covered by bark, her hands trembling. You carry my pain, said the spirit, not aloud, but straight into Adanna's heart. Long ago, I too was mocked. Abandoned. I begged the forest for strength, and it gave me power. But I used it in anger. I cursed the land. Now, I cannot live. Adanna stepped closer. I understand you, she thought, and I forgive you. The spirit shuddered. Light cracked through the bark that sealed her mouth. The vines fell away. And then, she wept. With her tears, the shrine bloomed. Flowers burst through the stone. The vines turned green and soft. The rain began to fall. Back in the village, the cursed child opened his eyes. The black vine around his leg shivered and disappeared. The people cried out in joy. Some fell to their knees. Others danced in the rain. Adanna stood at the edge of the village, her face wet with rain and tears. But before she turned to leave, a soft voice echoed inside her once more. You've healed them. But are you ready to heal yourself? She closed her eyes. For the first time, she saw her father smile. She was no longer the girl with the big ears. She was no longer the mock child. She was the spirit listener. And her journey was just beginning. Thank you for watching Adanna's powerful journey. Her story is far from over, so watch out for part 5 coming soon. If you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more African stories filled with spirit, heart, and wisdom. Until next time, stay inspired and stay connected.